Greetings, Light Tribe. Janine Palmer here, Spirit Silver Moon for Harmony Energy Healing. I wanted to talk, Happy New Year, by the way. I wanted to talk about connections that we have with people, relationships, what they teach us, why they come and go. So people come along our path for particular reasons, for particular periods of time. And there is Kylie, my little helper. She wants to be part of the video. So, you know, sometimes we have relationships, friendships, connections, whatever they are, that we have the ability to make last. So even when there's misunderstandings or there's a falling out, sometimes it has enough value to each person in it to come to a place of compromise, which comes through communication. So to come to a place through communication where each can talk about the way they felt about something, because usually the way that people are feeling about something is different for each one, and each person might not realize the other person doesn't quite understand what they're feeling, especially if they don't communicate it. Okay, so some people just might decide to disengage entirely. Like if someone's going through some hardships in their lives and they're in a negative place, if you want to use that word, if they're in a lower vibrational place of suffering because they're trying to get through something, someone might just say, well, you know what, I really don't have time for that, and I can't really be there for that person, and their energy is too low right now, and so I have to step away. And that might be permanent, which is sad, I think, sometimes. And then other times it might not have to be permanent. If those two people love each other enough, if they had an ongoing relationship for such a long period of time, then it has enough meaning that they can bring it back to life, so to speak. But sometimes people stick to their position of whatever it is, of feeling that they're right, to maybe shun or blame or not forgive someone for something. Especially it all comes through misunderstanding. It's the incompleteness. There is no unworthiness. It's incompleteness. So that they want to stick to their position, their perspective of being right, and holding that against someone else, which is unforgiveness, which actually holds them in a type of self-created prison, but they might not realize it. Okay, so we learn from all of it. So when we lose that connection, so to speak, because it's not really lost, but it certainly seems like it's lost. The one who didn't want it to go bye-byes has to come to a place of acceptance and find peace, even though they don't understand it, even if they try to communicate and it just wasn't received. That means it's not supposed to be a thing anymore. And we have to come to a place of awareness that that's okay. Okay, because those people were teachers for us. What did we learn from it? And be in gratitude for the love that we shared with them while that was a viable connection or whatever. Maybe we wrote it in somewhere before we came here that would happen. Why? How did that thing redirect us? If we look back, we can really see how it redirected us. And a lot of times we can really see where we strengthened ourselves in certain areas, or where and how we healed. Okay? And sometimes when we lose a friend, we gain many more. And then we gain more knowledge and wisdom from those other friends. So it happens for a reason, okay? Similarly, when we lose people here, again, they're not really lost. They are not physically on our path anymore, but they're still around. and we can still tune into the vibration of that energy through love of that person. Okay, so when we are broadsided by horrific events that we don't understand why they happened, it's there to teach us something. People come here to experience certain things, even the horrific things, that it's hard to get our mind around. It's hard to get our head around that, our human conscious mind, which is limited. But it's things our spirit and our soul understands. Sometimes we close our heart off for protection because the pain is too much. So someone might have come to have that experience, but somehow some people think that they need to feel bad for it, that they need to take on that pain, that somehow they're responsible, or they try to take on the responsibility for it, and they carry these massive burdens that are not theirs. So really, meditation and prayer, go out in nature, write, paint, draw, do something creative, okay, and let it flow. Let the thoughts and emotions flow through you, not get stuck in you like you were some kind of a tomb, because you're not. It's a test for you to learn maybe not to hold things against yourself or anyone else, because forgiveness is a master key. Okay, forgiveness frees you. Forgiveness isn't about letting anyone else off the hook. It's about freeing yourself. And forgiving yourself is a way to release karma. Okay, self-love and self-forgiveness. Huge, huge. Reflect on that for a while. If you hold something against yourself, ask yourself why. Write it down. And ask yourself, how is it serving you? It might be creating an energetic block. Energy needs to flow. And we create these energetic blocks. We are not even aware of them. Okay? And if that energy that's in our energy field isn't released or healed, it settles into our body and into our organs, and eventually can cause physical symptoms of dis-ease because we are not releasing. Okay? But it's up to the individual to do that when and if they're ready. Okay, we're all on our own journey. We all have to do our own work. So this is about the fact that connections come and go. They never really go. But as far as them being in our immediate space of experience and awareness, some friendships, connections, relationships go. And it's probably because they were supposed to, even if we don't yet understand why. Buddha says attachment causes suffering. We need to learn non-attachment. I typically call it detachment, but the correct terminology is non-attachment. If we are attached to things, to someone, to our ideas, to certain things, we have attachments to those, then we often suffer because of it. And those are things that can hold us back. So when we can take a step back and detach, or come to that place of non-attachment, that is where we can find peace. And that's it for this one.